Okay, everybody, watch your language. We are live streaming on YouTube.
Thanks for the warning.
Oh, Bev, I got a thank you letter from Julie Malkin at Lucas County Children's Services,
Cool.
but it had your name on it. So
That's all right. Did they come out and pick everything up just like we expected?
yeah, I still had to walk it almost all the way to the building, the entrance, because they had a lineup of cars. And then she didn't seem like she knew what was going on.
Boy.
She looked like a deer caught in the headlights a little bit. And but no, it didn't take that long at all. It only took maybe.
Well, you had contacted her, right?
Yeah, I called them up and they said, well, I was a little bit late, maybe about 10 minutes.
Yeah, that shouldn't make any difference.
No, it shouldn't have. And yeah, it went well. I mean, there was not any. Usually, there's like tons of people in front of the building. There was like nobody except for people dropping off gifts. So, because I guess they're still not doing anything. They're not having anything in their building currently. They're not having like visitation or anything like that in there.
Well, that's probably good.
Oh, and the other piece of news too, I don't know if you saw it in the newspaper, but Peter Range, who works for the Archdiocese of Toledo, was named the new executive director of Ohio Right to Life. And he's been one of the big wigs with that Foundation for Life thing that bought that parking lot next to the abortion clinic.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But it didn't say if he was like quitting his job at the Archdiocese, so I would assume that they would.
No, they'll make it his job from the Archdiocese.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's real hard not to get depressed over the whole thing and just give up. We seem like we just can't make any progress against these people. They've been planning this for so long, and we're just not taking them seriously.
Yeah, it seems like it, definitely. I mean, the main thing that, and I did a podcast, my Secular Left podcast. My main argument was that they start their premise that a fetus is a child. So their whole basis of existence is on a false premise, and you can't deal it. You can't change their mind. They're going to think that way, and it's not factually accurate. It's not scientifically accurate. It's not philosophically accurate. And
what they're calling a heartbeat is just electrical impulses that the heart's not even developed yet.
I mean, we did that in science class, I think, one time, is we put some chemicals together and there was like a rhythmic beat. But that wasn't a child. It wasn't a person. It was just a chemical reaction.
Well, Well, they believe Trump, they'll believe anything.
But they just had this one bill passed, just sent to the governor's desk yesterday, which is the Born Alive bill, that a doctor can be charged with a felony if they do not take action if a baby is born alive during an abortion, which rarely, if ever, I've ever heard that happening. And it's already a law that they have to medically assist babies when they're born. So if it's born, it's a child, it's a baby, it's not an abortion. Abortion is an ending of a pregnancy. So, yeah, they're just making stuff up now. They're just throwing crap against the wall and see what sticks.
Whatever they can get the Supreme Court to look at, because we know where that's going to go. I guess what really bothers me is they make it so much about the baby and not about the mother's bodily autonomy. So the argument I've given with people is, okay, I need a kidney. You've got a kidney. You have to give it to me. You don't have any rights to your kidney. You have to give it to me. Nobody would go for that.
No, they make that same argument with vaccinations too. You know, it's my body, my choice, except if you're a woman and a pregnant woman.
Exactly.
And I don't see how that's fair at all. But all right. Well, let's just go ahead and get started with the meeting. The topic that I had was about the new year. So if anybody has anything that they want to talk about, like that they're planning on doing, or anything new that they want to see for the new year, feel free to chime in. And
FYI, can you guys hear me?
yeah, sort of.
Oh, this is Ed. I'm just listening. I just thought I'd try this call-in thing.
It works.
It works. There you go.
Surprisingly. All right. Well, I'm probably not going to contribute too much because I got to keep pushing buttons on my phone. It's sort of hard to drive in the middle of a snowstorm and push buttons. So
yeah, don't do that. Don't push buttons while you're driving in a snowstorm.
Safety first.
I'll be listening mostly.
Okay.
That means we have to be very entertaining now. We're under pressure here.
No pressure. No pressure.
Well, the only thing I got coming up in the new year is I'm finally going to get my teeth fixed. Finally get them fixed. I signed up for the extra dental benefit through my health care plan, so be able to get that done. That's the main thing. That's my main goal this year, and also to get healthier. So it's get my teeth fixed and get healthier. That's what I'm going to be working on. And also trying to keep this group going with trying to, hopefully the surge will end and we'll be able to meet in public again. And it's a never-ending thing. But so that's what I got planned for the new year.
Well, I've started therapy because I plan on dealing with all these things that keep circling back in my life. And then I ignore them, and then they come back and keep hitting me in the face. And I need to just deal with them and find a way to either get over it or confront it and solve it. So I'm pretty determined to clear out the crap of my life so I'm more free.
That sounds like a very good goal, Bev.
Yeah, it does.
Therapy can be hard sometimes, so make sure that when you're talking to your therapist, as you uncover stuff, talk about how to be able to keep functional in your life as you deal with stuff. That's important. You'll learn a lot about self-care probably.
Well, what I'm finding to be the most useful is I like to write, but I always need to have a deadline. So my meeting with the therapist is my deadline, and then I do a bunch of journaling on. Right now, I'm kind of doing it by subject. This is what happened with me and this person, and this is what I want to do. Or this is what happened with me and this person, and I don't know what to do. Help me. And I'm finding that she's not giving me any answers or any direction. So I'm a little frustrated, but maybe I just don't understand the process.
It takes a little while sometimes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've done therapy, and I found many times where sometimes I just felt like I was going to her office just to talk about stuff and then not really doing anything. And, my therapist wasn't really telling me anything. But every once in a while, then once she got kind of a hold of my situation as a whole, and she would ask me a question. And it's a question that I wouldn't know the answer to right away. And I'd have to really give it thought.
And she's starting to do that. I mean, the last time she was asking me, well, can you forgive this person? And I have to really think about, can I really forgive that person? How many things in life are unforgivable? So I'm working on that.
That word forgive, the idea of what forgiveness is something that I have really struggled with, because I think forgiving somebody allows that person to have a past. And what I am generally most interested in is how I get past whatever their actions, words were, inaction.
Yeah. And I always do what I think is right. And if I'm not right, then someone needs to tell me I'm wrong. But when I do things to help somebody and they attack me for it, I just don't understand, how am I supposed to deal with that? It's like, I was doing the best I could do. I was trying to help. You seem to accept my help, but now you're running around running me down for doing that exact same thing. So it's a process.
Hi, Peggy.
Oh, hi. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Glad you could join us.
Yeah, I came on a little late, but I was out getting a massage, so I just came home. I'm feeling pretty good.
All right. Good for you.
Yeah. Oh, how's it going?
Okay. Well, we were just getting started with talking about what we're doing for the new year,
Okay.
what our plans are. And Bev was talking about her plans. And there you go, Bev. There's a great self-care act for you. Get a massage.
Getting a massage. No, I can't stand people touching me.
Okay. Yeah, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't work then. That's pretty much the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, my sister-in-law keeps prompting me, oh, you need to go get a pedicure. You're going to love it. I can't stand anybody touching my feet. I would absolutely crawl out of my skin.
Oh, what about one of those tanks that you float in? Could you do
now
that?
That I could do. That would be awesome.
I think there's a place like that in Perrysburg. I wonder if they're still
probably. Yeah.
So that might be kind of what you could do instead of a massage or pedicure, that kind of stuff, because nobody touches you.
Yeah, but I've got a bathtub here at home.
Well, I think the difference is that you have you're able to float because it's highly salinated.
Right.
And there's like a sensory deprivation. So you don't have even like ambient sound. You don't have pressure. you're not tasting or smelling. You don't see, I mean, it's just very isolated, way more than I think.
I did it once years ago. And one thing I noticed about it was how much I noticed my body, like exactly where all the tension was. And I, just drawing my attention to it kind of helped me. Well, I was there for a massage too, but never mind that part. But, but being, but being aware of where your tension is and then dealing with it yourself with stretching or, or whatever. But that was very helpful. It was very relaxing. So, yeah. So there you go. So what are other people doing in the new year? No, everybody's muted except Sean, I think.
Doug said he was, he's getting his teeth fixed and working on getting healthier through the year.
Yep.
Yay. Good
Yep. Gonna finally try to do it this time.
Okay. Okay.
Sean hasn't told us what she's doing.
Well, I just last week with my daughter, set up a schedule where 2 days a week, I'm going to have my granddaughter during the daytime hours. So
I am so jealous.
I've only been working for the last year. So I've only been working about 20 to 25 hours a week. And 20 hours is with my main client, and then up to 4.5 hours a week with my other gentleman. And he's kind of hit or miss sometimes. And so I've really enjoyed it. I feel less stressed. I feel hugely less stressed.
Good.
I think I'm a little bit more tolerable to live with and be around. And
yeah, I wonder who we could ask about that.
I don't know. Doug is staying the heck out of it, isn't he?
he doesn't seem to have much opinion on that.
Oh, I bet he has opinions, but he doesn't feel the need.
Yeah. My opinion has no relevance at all.
Oh, okay.
See,
okay.
now, and that, helps me conclude he's a smart man.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
That's maybe why we're still together. So.
So is anyone having to deal with the religious people in their families for the holidays?
Not for me. No, I don't see them much anymore with COVID and so on. So I don't know how religious half of them are. I think one half is just kind of pretending to be religious for the other half. I don't think you gotta have that feeling, and there's a prayer and you look up and someone else is looking back at you, say, oh, you too, huh? When you have communal prayer at a dinner and, you open your eyes and other people are looking around too. So,
yeah, we have my mom's side of the family has the big family party. Hello, Ed.
I just left. Hello, how you doing?
Good.
I just left my religious part of the family, so I won't see them for the rest of the holidays. So I'm good.
You got it out of the way early.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't have to worry about that. Now I can have a real Christmas.
Good for you.
As secular and commercialized as it was intended to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
I recently read.
My idea of Christmas is just being able to see choice ones in my family who don't irritate me and relax. So, and that's just what's going to happen. So I don't have to worry about the people preaching about this or saying something or other. And they finally got the hint when they try and say grace before dinner, and I just start eating. They finally got the hint that they don't need to say grace before dinner. They need to thank the cook is what they need to do for making it. That's all.
And the farmers that grew it.
Yeah.
And the truckers that delivered it.
That's right. Truckers.
Right. That's true.
Well, we have the big family party on my mother's side, and they are uber Catholics, And there's always the big prayer, and then they have to sing all the religious Christmas carols, and they act so righteous. And my mom's having a fit because none of us want to go, none of us kids. And it's like, she said, well, why don't you want to go? I said, because it's no fun for me sitting there listening to all this religious crap. It's the same big families every year that take everything over. And I don't want to participate anymore. So she's not happy. But if my younger sister ends up going, I will go just to support my sister. I will not go for the rest of that clan.
I don't really have any family left, that I communicate with regularly. My grandpa always had the big family gathering, and he died a few months after my mom did. And I was estranged from my dad for the 15 years before he died. So yeah, I've got my kids, and that's about it.
And of course,
And
they're all very religious, right?
my kids.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they are very politically minded, and I am actually I've come around to my atheism because of them. So
That's wonderful.
yeah, there is no pretending to be religious in my family with my kids. That's not a thing.
My daughters are all heathens, and I'm very proud of them.
And even my son's girlfriend, he's had a steady girlfriend for quite a while now. And she's not real sure where she sits with any of it. Her dad, well, it's her adopted dad, is a pastor. And his current girlfriend, who he was married to at one time, she is...
What? Wait a minute. How does that work?
My son's girlfriend, her adopted father is a pastor. But she's not sure. She thinks she doesn't believe in a God, but she's still kind of exploring all that because she was raised with it. She's still young. And
I want to know about the pastor and his girlfriend.
Yeah, the girlfriend, I guess they were married at one time, and they divorced. I guess she is a really rotten, horrible person. And a big part of why MJ, that's my son's girlfriend, does not have contact with her dad at all is because of her. But after they got divorced, they ended up getting back together, and she is also something or other in the church. I don't know if she's a pastor, what she is, but and then her grandparents are bishops in this church. I just found that out the other night.
Lovely.
I had a great aunt and uncle who got married to each other 3 times. It was weird. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Kind of an odd bunch, but I come from an odd bunch, I guess.
Yeah. Well, mine is just unstable. The bunch I come from.
So part of what I do at work is I have to read these church newsletters, about 30 or 40 of them every month. And one of them was telling all about how Martin Luther was the first one to bring a tree into the house and decorate it. They completely dismissed the whole pagan roots of the Christmas tree, and they had excuses for all of the different, stories and pieces involved. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're so warping reality.
Yeah, there was some political person when the Fox News tree went up in flames, tried to claim that Christmas trees were Christian.
Yeah, this was the same sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Martin Luther brought the first one in the house and decorated, and I'm like, no,
No,
I
no,
don't think
no,
so.
I thought it had something to do with Queen Elizabeth.
I thought it went way farther back than that.
Yeah, I thought so
Decorating.
too.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, with the
I know it was a German thing before it was an English thing, and it might have been Victoria because her husband was German. I don't know who got into it.
Maybe that's what I read about. Maybe that's just kind of when, maybe Chris. Yeah, that would make more sense because it was during the Victorian era.
Well, and
the real commercialism and decorations and everything blew up.
Yeah, and Martin Luther was German.
Yeah, so they were into trees for a while there, but pagans did it first for sure. They had a tree thing going for hundreds of years.
Yeah, and the same time of year, which winter
solstice and the bonfires and all that stuff.
And the baby was born in December when actually it was August. If that even happened.
Was it August? I heard it was February.
Oh, I thought it was August because it had to do with the shepherds being out with the sheep.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Oh, yeah. If you're going to try to put it somewhere realistically, there are lots of different places in the year it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and which means
what are you gonna do?
It's all arbitrarily put together. Well, not based in reality.
No, there's lots of little folk stories that all got slammed together and pasted together. Those stories don't match at all.
Well, the way I came out to my mother was accidentally. We were touring the Art Institute in Chicago, and we were in the Greco room, El Greco paintings. There's a great big one of the crucifixion, and she looked at it and she says, "Well, this isn't right, and this is wrong, and they didn't make that's not part of the story." And I just looked at her and I said, "What does it matter? It's all just fairy tales anyway." Oh my God! She had a conniption right there in the museum.
Oh my! Yeah.
And she was like, "You weren't raised that way." I said, "Oh, so if I would have been raised in India, I'd be a Hindu." I mean, is that the only reason that you're Catholic is because of where you were raised? Doesn't that make you wonder about that? But yeah, that was where I came out to my family.
There are people who get into the symbolism of the story and El Greco and how the symbolism of the way he puts together the painting and all that. And I mean, you can find like beauty and something of value and in a lot of traditions, but to say, well, that's not the way it was. I think, well, the way it wasn't. There was no was.
and it was like, were you there?
There's a song about that.
How old are you?
Were you there? Yes, I know that song. Yeah. And the answer is no. I don't know why it's a famous hymn, but yeah.
That's one thing I do miss is the Christmas music. And I can listen to it if it's just instrumental, but when they start singing about this stuff, I can't. It just, my mouth swells up and I cannot sing.
Well, you grew up with a lot of trauma around that, didn't? Sometimes, Bev, you've talked about how bizarre it was. You'd be on your little knees as a child, and
yeah, I did not like Santa Claus. He was a big mean guy with a cane that made us kneel down and say our prayers or we wouldn't get our presents. And if you didn't say them right, you got hit with the cane.
That's just bizarre. I mean, beyond.
And then finding out that Santa was my uncle and my dad went to his house and did the same thing with his kids just turned me way off of that whole thing.
That's just.
Because I got to the age where I just looked at them and said, "No, I don't care what you've got to give me. I don't want it if that's what I have to do." So I made a lot of decisions along that way that led to where I am now.
Yeah.
You try, I'm working with a therapist now and you try to tell these stories and they're hard to believe. And
Well, this stuff happens. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it does. You
yeah,
didn't make that up.
I could write the story of my life, but I'd have to write it as fiction because nobody would believe it.
Yeah. Uh,
You still doing okay, Ed?
well, he's muted. I don't know where is he driving or what's he doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. It's a good thing I was able to mute it. I was been laughing all of you out of the room because I was laughing at some of the things you guys were saying.
Uh,
I can relate to so much of that. I don't normally make New Year's resolutions, so I don't have anything to share because whenever I make resolutions, I break them. So why bother?
We're not talking mainly. Yeah, we're not talking mainly about resolutions.
No.
In the blurb, I talked about evolution, more how you're going from
There you go. Yeah.
one point to the new point, and how you're going to get there.
Right.
Well, and you don't need any
Well.
New Year's resolutions, Ed. You're already perfect.
Yeah, did you snick some vodka in that eggnog?
I know she's
Yeah.
looking those envelopes over at work. I think she might have looked a few too many envelopes. I don't know.
Oh, I actually caught people licking envelopes at work, and I was so disgusted that I just
Yeah, especially since COVID, you just don't do that.
Yeah.
and I was like, here's a glue stick, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's gross to begin with, but now I've got my little cotton ball and I just moisten it, and that's how I close my envelopes now. The little Scotch tape on them, but yeah, I guess it was just always a gross thing to do. Well, so much for that. What other strange habits do we need to get rid of that were wrong for years and we finally got around to not doing them anymore?
Blowing out birthday candles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Spitting all over that cake and then hand it out.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm. Yep.
And I'm happy with not shaking hands with people,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
sometimes that can be a really uncomfortable surprise.
Mhm.
No, I don't like being touched to begin with, so not shaking hands, perfectly fine with me.
Doug, you were saying something, but you weren't muted.
Yeah, I
You
was
were
muted.
unmuted.
No, I was just talking about. I was talking to Sean the other day. I had my high school reunion this summer, 35th high school reunion, and I came to the realization that the people that were attending it were people I really didn't want to hang out with. The people that I wanted to hang out with don't go to them. And I had, unlike some of my friends over the years, I actually enjoyed my high school time. I really liked it. The people, some of the people I know now, I've known since elementary school. But it's just like as I'm getting older, I just noticed that, it's still cliquey. The group is still cliquey. And the people that were hanging out back in high school are hanging out today. And I was just never part of that. I wasn't in the vocational student section, and I wasn't in the academic section. I was like the geek, the nerds, which nobody wanted to claim. And so the geeks and the nerds, they have not attended the reunion in many years.
Nerds rule.
Right. I mean, there was nothing wrong with us. It's just, it's just that conformity stuff. We just didn't go, and just I found a lot of the people. I mean, some of these people have known me, like I said, since elementary school. You would think that they would come up and say, "Hey, Doug, how's it going?" Nobody did. I had to go up to somebody. "Hey, how's it going?" It's like that just tells me how welcome I am, is when they don't even acknowledge that I'm there, or they kind of look at me and roll their eyes or whatever.
For
And
our 10-year reunion, the cheerleaders and football players and that clique invited everybody. They invited the lower echelons to one party and then had a separate party for themselves.
yeah,
So
yeah. Our,
absolutely two different parties.
yeah, that happened one year with ours too. They had some kind of golfing event the day before, and then they had the dinner that day with everybody else that could attend. Yeah.
Now this was on the same day in two different places. They were at a country club and we were in a park. I never went back. I never went to another one.
Yeah, and that's too bad. I mean, because I want to see I actually want to see people, but it's just the amount of time it took me to be there, the time that I spent, the money that I spent buying a ticket, and not even get to and then having to hang out at the same table with the same people that I don't want to hang out with. And it's just like, what's the point? So the 40th is in 5 years. And unless I know some of my nerdy friends are going, I'm probably most likely not going.
You should have your own separate reunion. Invite those people.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that. Because, like for instance, I have a friend, his name Tracy Cornelius. I have not seen him since graduation day. The day after graduation, he moved out of Findlay and disappeared. His brother did too. Well, no, I did run into his brother a year after high school. And my friend Dean, he went into the Air Force. I don't know where he's at. And so it's like these people that I hung out with practically every day for 3 or 4 years just disappeared. And those are the people that I want to hang out with. I don't know. I just was never that way. I was just never one of those people that drops everything and just moves away. I just never did that. So I don't know.
Well,
They had their reasons.
I went to a local bar once, quite a while after graduation, and it was the same people sitting at the same tables. And they had all intermarried, and it was kind of sad.
Well, it was interesting too that there was probably at least 2 or 3 sets of couples that had been married, divorced, and married the other person.
Oh.
So there was 2 or 3 people groups that were ex of somebody else in that same group. And I did just boggled my mind.
That seems a little uncomfortable
Yeah, it does.
for future gatherings.
Yeah, especially when you live in the same city and do all the same things.
With that being a smaller city like
Right.
Findlay.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so
You were the only one sitting there who hadn't been married to any of these people at all. So
yeah.
I have no plans of ever even thinking about marriage again. Once was enough to teach me a lesson.
I said that once. After my kid's dad and I split up, I said I'd never get married again.
never say never, huh?
Yeah.
Have to find the right person, and then there
Yep.
you are.
Yeah, especially when somebody is on a hospital bed thinking they're going to die
Oh.
and want you to spend their life with you. Yeah. Yeah, so she didn't dissuade me from that, so.
Okay.
But I won't ever attend any of my high school reunions again. I went to my 10-year. It was a big mistake. This was before Facebook or anything, so you really had no idea what people were doing and where they were at. And I just was pretty well convinced that even though I was that outcast when I was in high school and really did not have any friends in high school, not from my classes or anything. I had basically one friend who is still my friend today. We've never lost contact with each other, and we don't talk a lot, but I always sat by myself at a lunch table every single day. And finally, one day we were in the same Spanish class, and she saw me at lunch sitting by myself, and she asked me to come sit with her, and I sat at that table every day for the rest of school until she graduated the year ahead of me. And then I just started going to the library every day for lunch. But I really thought that by the time 10 years had gone by, that people must have grown up and started understanding, how life really works and how people are, and developed a level of maturity and compassion and tolerance. And no.
And you were very, very wrong.
I was very, very wrong, very disappointed in the whole thing. Again, I was really ticked because I had spent money for tickets, and I put myself in a position where I was very uncomfortable, and it felt worse than high school. It felt worse than walking into the cafeteria looking for a place to sit.
The two people
with a date at all, or there by yourself?
I was married by that time.
Okay, your husband was there with you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And I had my daughter. I had a kid by then. And I just realized, you know what, there's just absolutely no point in, I can't change the past. I can't change what high school was for me. That experience is already past. It's gone. And it has left its mark, and I'm moving forward from it. And meeting up with people and having them be approving of me, accepting of me, want me to be part of their lives, it's not even something I want now. So it's gone, and I'm moving forward.
The two people that I tracked down that I was pretty close with in high school both turned out to be conspiracy theorists and Trumpsters and gun nuts. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I ever see in these people?
Yeah, I had a lot of my friends that I went to high school with. They're really good Republicans and voting for the Republican stuff, and really getting into it and not believing the COVID pandemic and all that jazz. And so when we went to the reunion, it was in July. At the time, they had the guidelines was that if you were vaccinated, you did not need to wear a mask indoors. So I did not wear a mask indoors. The only people that had a mask on inside the banquet hall was the catering staff. So,
and it was the first time we'd gone out anywhere.
Yeah.
We might have gone.
We went to the movies.
Breakfast. Oh, had we gone to the movies?
We went to Olive Garden with Ann.
Oh yeah.
That was the first
but
thing we
wore
went
masks
to.
Still inside.
Yeah,
because
inside.
They hadn't told us yet.
Right.
That we didn't have to.
But so like a week or two later, they changed the recommendation. And what was it? One of my more conservative friends was complaining about it, and I chimed in with my take on it that yeah, we should be doing that. And this girl from my high school that was at the reunion said, "But Doug, you didn't wear a mask at the reunion. You're a hypocrite." And I said, "Wait a minute." And so I went and got the thing. I said, that was in July. And in July, the CDC said that people that were that were vaccinated didn't have to wear masks. So it was like, yeah. And I'm like thinking, why did I know this person? I don't get that. I just,
They act like science is carved in stone, never makes any corrections, makes one decision, and that's what you got to go by for the rest of
Yeah.
eternity. And it's not religion.
Yeah, if the vaccine,
Equating religion, yeah.
if the vaccine works, why do we have to get more than one shot? That's what somebody else
Well,
told me.
partially because we've got idiots out there who won't get vaccinated and will not wear masks currently, whether they're vaccinated or not. So we're continuing to spread it, and it's continuing to evolve.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't believe in evolution either, so you don't
Right.
even bother.
That's
Oh
true.
yeah,
So that's what's evolving in the new year is the coronavirus.
yes it is.
Yeah, and Omicron, I've heard, different things from different people, but it's going to be a lot more contagious, and it might possibly be,
Well, it's like those religious conspiracy theories about the AC and the DC. Yeah, ever hear them talk about that?
no, what the heck's that?
Yeah, it's some evangelical, like really fruity evangelical group. We're talking about the AC and the DC.
Well, that's electricity, isn't it? Alternating current and direct
And it's a
current.
band. It's a band too.
Oh, and a band too, of course.
Right. But
Well,
it was
that's
like,
also a common derogatory term for people who are bisexual.
Oh, is
maybe
it?
that's what it was.
Oh, gee.
But it wasn't necessarily like 5G,
No.
which
Oh,
I don't
that was-
understand what their deal
Yeah.
is with 5G.
I actually know some otherwise sensible people on the left who are all about the 5G. Yeah, I'm really concerned about them blowing their credibility on this when they're very good on other things. I mean, a candidate, the city council in Sylvania is on this, and I wish I could get her off of that because she's
What's
going to
the big
blow
issue
any
with the
credibility
5G?
she has on this stupidity, But,
What
yeah.
is the 5G issue? I
Oh,
guess I missed
the
something.
the cell phone towers that are going to give you cancer if you allow them to
Oh,
be in
that.
town.
Okay.
That 5G.
And the vaccine is going to put a little thing in you that the 5G is going to be able to control you.
Yeah, there's some connection. Yeah, some kind of thing between
Oh,
them. there.
jeez.
I get messages from Bill Gates all the time. So, must be
Oh.
true.
Hey,
Anyway, I'm at
Are
my
you
New York
still-
headquarters. I got to sign off. I'm at my New York headquarters, and my wife's waiting for me. So,
All right. Merry
All right.
Christmas, Ed. Good to
Enjoy
talk
your
to you.
holiday.
Dad.
yes, everybody have
Talk
a
to you
great
later.
holiday, and we'll see you after the New Year.
All right.
Okay.
Great.
There, be safe.
Be
All right,
safe.
bye-bye.
Bye.
I don't know why I started waving at him. Never mind.
Wave at a symbol of a phone.
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, Ed's a
these
great guy.
theories are-
He really did a lot for our children, our family this year, and like he did last year. He's really gone above and beyond in
Oh, I'm
with
sorry I
his
missed
charity.
that. Somehow I managed to miss the whole thing. I'm so very sorry.
Well, we'll catch you next year.
Yeah, we
you
will.
Better. Yep. I'll do it.
Yeah, it turned out really nice. Was really appreciated the work you did for it, Bev, and for having so much trouble getting people together to do things, and again for another year we were able to pull it off, and
Well, if you feed them bacon wrapped barbecue shrimp, they will come.
those were good. Those
Yeah,
were
I'm
good.
really sorry
Yes.
I missed that.
That and the cheese that Ed brought. The cheese that Ed brought was pretty good too.
And that meat, I mean, it was a little tough, but it had such great flavor to it.
Yeah,
you
it
must
was,
shop at some really good places.
And what was it called? Spicy capicola or something like that. He said it was a little bit spicy. It did taste a little bit spicy.
Yeah, the cheese was good, but I'm kind of lactose intolerant, so
Yeah, right.
he left it at my house, so I took it over to my brother, and he's loving it. So. But yeah, I don't know if you knew Margarita had brought some of those gifts.
Yeah, you had said that. I should send her a note. I forgot to do that.
Yeah. And I need to work on some flyers to put up. I want to get flyers over to TK for the church, like, so they're up during the holidays when more people are coming in. That's on my list.
Yeah, and I want to send some flyers to the Maumee Church, the Maumee Unitarian Church, and
I don't know about that one.
And the one in
there's one in Bowling Green.
Yeah, there's one in Bowling Green.
Yeah, is there one also in Maumee? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's just outside of Maumee. Well, it's actually south of Perrysburg.
Yeah, that's the Bowling Green one I'm talking about.
Yeah, Maumee Valley.
Maumee Valley. Okay,
that's the one I was thinking of. Okay,
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I was like, it'd be great if there was another one, but
but there's one. Shoot, what's that? That little town in Fulton County.
Lyons.
Yeah, there's one in Lyons.
Yeah, I've tried to get there, and it's so far away. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I know. You gotta. I was looking at that. I was like, man, there is no direct route. You got to take the county roads to get to that place.
Yeah, and that's that's old hometown space for me. So because Evergreen's out that way, and my brother used to live in Lyons, so I know my way around there. But I got to a certain point, and I just said, "This ain't worth it." I turned around, and came back home. But I used to go to TK's church before TK was there. And I got disappointed by them. So I don't know if they're any better now. I'm not going to find out.
Yeah, I have a kind of a love-hate relationship with Unitarians, and not that I hate them. I could never be a member of the church. There's too much baggage.
I tried real hard, but when they didn't care about me. They just wanted my money.
Yeah, well, a lot of churches are like that. Yeah.
I was done with them at that point because I had tried everything to get involved and was just turned aside everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, if there's like events and things to go to, I'll go to them and I'll support that stuff, and they are like-minded. It's just. I'm just not doing the church thing anymore. I dropped that a long time ago. That's why I always bristle when people talk about meeting on Sundays and singing hymns and, but we're secular. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. You don't need to meet on Sunday. You don't need to sing hymns. It just.
If you're going to sing some good old rock and roll.
Yeah, there you go. And
so that's one of the evolutions. We should all sing more besides in the shower.
Yeah, I sing really good in the shower.
I have a group of friends. Every time we get together, we can't do anything without breaking into song. But it's because we all think alike.
I can whistle pretty good.
Yeah.
Whistle along with a song, but I can't. I'm not a good singer.
Oh, I'm not a good singer. I'm just a loud singer.
What about drumming circles? I know some of these churches were into that for a while. So you just show up, and it doesn't have to be a real drum either. I mean, you can just kind of.
Well, now they use it as an exercise program. It's called cardio drumming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not into that, but yeah, you can do that too. That's another thing. But
well, that would probably be about as bad as when our booth was next to the Buddhists at the Pride Festival, and they had that gong that people were coming by and ringing.
Oh,
all
geez.
All day. I mean, I like the Buddhists, but man, that just
too much gong. Okay.
Too much.
A little gong goes a long way.
Especially when you're there all day and that you hear that all day.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it was like probably maybe about this big or something. I mean, it wasn't that big, but it was just right next to us, and it was like bong. I'm like,
well, we have to find a gimmick like that. What could we do? have to think about that.
Well, those toy dinosaurs went pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea. You didn't have little men riding on them?
No, no, we didn't get them from the Creation Museum. No, I made sure I got the right kind.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the little guy on the loincloth with the spear, right? And
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Riding it over to the ark. It's just-
Yeah, that's another thing. I'd probably get kicked out of if I went to that Ark Museum. I'd probably get kicked out. I'd be like, wait a minute, this isn't real. They'd be like, please, sir, please leave.
Religion, when did it get so crazy? I don't remember it being, I mean, it was normalized when I was growing up. I mean, everybody went to church, blah, blah, blah. But they didn't have all this craziness.
There
They
was
did.
some. Yeah,
They
there
kept
was
it
some.
to themselves, you know. They handled their snakes and whatever, and they didn't bother other people.
Yeah, we had when I was a kid in Finley, we had one of those record burning religious meets where
The
bring your
AC/DC.
devil music. Yeah, bring your devil music, and yeah, and that got a good play up in the newspaper and everything. And the Baptist church that I went to a couple of times, they actually had people speaking in tongues during the service. No
Been there
snakes.
A couple of times, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have any snakes. Yeah, my friend that I was telling you about, Tracy Cornelius, his brother and him went to this church, the Calvary Baptist Church. Their parents were really religious, very religious. And so they wanted me to go, so I was like, cool. And they had a youth event where they were giving out free pizza. I'm like, I'm there. I'm there for the free pizza.
That's how they get them in. Yep. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, and of course,
Feed them.
I'm chomping on some pizza, and Terry, the youngest one, says that I need to give you my testimony, Doug. And he goes in this big long story about why he's saved, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting story. You got any more pizza?
There was a friend of my aunt's that got into the charismatic Catholic movement and, you know, was very much, and she got breast cancer and she refused to get medical treatment. And to the day she died, she was, God's going to heal me. God's going to heal me. And laid there and died. And I thought, how stupid are you? God sent you doctors and you're not going to bother to go to them.
Yeah. Yeah, the World Harvest Church down in Columbus, they had the prosperity gospel, where you take all your bills, put it in a pile, and they burn it. And then your financial worries are supposed to go away.
Until they come and haul you away to jail.
Yeah, for not paying your bills. Yep.
Well, my neighbors are into the quiver full.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How many? How many kids do they have?
They have 3. And that looks like all they're going to have. I don't know. But their kids are treated like royalty. They come to my house to help me do things because their parents don't let them do chores at home.
Now, that is unusual for the quiverfuls. As I understand it, they have lots and lots of kids, and the kids have to take care of each other. I mean, that's my idea of having a quiver full. I mean, their quiver only has 3 in it. That's a little different.
Yeah. I don't understand the whole thing, but it's basically that their children are too precious to dirty their hands.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of must be a side shoot to the regular quiverful.
Yeah, that's what that Duggar clan. That's what they were
That's
part of.
right. Yes, exactly.
Quiverful.
That kind of thing. Trying to outpopulate us heathens.
What they have, like, 20 kids or something?
19. Yeah.
19? Jeez.
Yeah,
And
I
then
think the mom was always pregnant, like every year. Yeah.
Well, and you don't have any muscle after a while. And what keeps them in there?
I don't know. Yeah, there's quite a few of those shows on that TLC network that are like that. They're not as overtly religious as the Duggars were, but it comes from that same.
Well, and there's that whole Mormon thing.
Yeah, that
I've
too.
done a
Yeah,
lot of investigation into that, and it's just so many of them. They've got all these wives and all these kids, and they're all on welfare. So we're paying for all of them to have all these kids. It's wrong. It's just wrong.
Well, and the fact that a lot of those kids don't get an education. The girls are raised to raise kids, and the boys are raised to learn whatever trade their father is doing, which isn't a whole heck of a lot, or learning to be on welfare kind of thing. But yeah, the boys are, generally educated just enough to be able to go into a trade, and the girls are expected to be homemakers. And there's no education really beyond that.
The boys are supposed to become like church leaders or something.
Yeah, right.
But that's a very small group, so it's hard to get into.
Right.
You got to be born into the right family.
Well, if you got 5 boys, they're not all going to be, ministers in a small area, but they're not to go around. Oh, and Sean is muted. Her mouth is moving, but she's muted.
Yeah, I've never heard about this quiverful thing. I've never.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just looking at it online.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
And I'm like, according to their estimates, if 8 million couples, which is far more than the 10,000 or so who actually practice quiverful beliefs, started having at least 6 kids, they would win the war against non-believers within 100 years. That is just, I just can't. Wow. That is so.
Yeah, little soldiers for
Hitler.
Christ. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're discounting free will.
Yeah.
And the fact that not all those kids are going to have kids that stay in that religious.
Exactly.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Fred Phelps's daughter, the one who escaped. Yeah. I mean, several of them have escaped. Yeah. Yeah,
so I guess they probably have to have more kids to make up for the ones that they lose.
Yeah. There you go.
To rationality. It's like we don't talk about Timmy. He became rational. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're assuming all these kids are going to stay in the fold, and they don't.
Well, you gotta get them when they're young, so you can warp them beyond repair. Now, my middle daughter went to Catholic school up till the 6th grade. And my youngest daughter went to public school all the way through. And she didn't get as good of an education, but she's got a much stronger sense of self and doesn't fall for all that bullshit. And neither does my middle daughter. She got over it pretty quickly because Catholic school treated her very badly.
Yeah, if they're all about this living for others thing. I know a young woman who is brilliant young woman, but she's been in Catholic school her whole career. And you talk to her and she's really, really praised for never thinking about herself, always thinking of others. And that's like this whole mindset thing that she's really into a lot. Always for others, everything for others. That's kind of her motto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's nice to be generous with other people, but you've got to have some sense that, some of what I do is for me as well. I mean, I'm a person too. Yeah.
An empty cup cannot nourish.
Yeah, that's what exactly. Well put.
Or what is it? No, an empty vessel cannot nourish, cannot fill another vessel.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's probably some kind of religious thing, but the idea is the same. It's, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like the argument that people make against altruism.
Right.
Is that you're giving all of yourself to somebody, but that's not part of it. It's altruism isn't about giving all of yourself to other people, but just taking slices of it, taking parts of your time to help other people or money to help other people, but not to do it to where you're destitute or need help yourself. Yeah.
But to make it your personal motto, or the motto
Yeah.
that you're supposed to aspire to, is everything for others. Yeah. I think when I heard her say that, it's like, oh, good golly, no.
That's
Yeah.
how my mother was raised, and she
Yeah,
very
okay.
much,
Okay.
she does everything for everybody except her own kids.
Oh,
And
wow.
I've said to her before, I wish you would treat me like you treat a stranger, because it would be so much
Oh,
better.
oh, wow.
And that's just, everybody thinks she's wonderful, she's a saint. Oh, Rosie, everybody loves Rosie, she's
Mm,
the greatest, and I'm like, not so much. But she's a product of her
yeah,
background and her
yeah.
family and the Catholic religion, where women are there to serve.
Mm.
I think as I'm thinking about it, my main client, her mom, who passed away this past summer, she was 81, and over the last year, I learned a lot about my client's upbringing within the Catholic Church, and I know her mom was, well, she was just very difficult to deal with sometimes, and I think um, I think that there was probably a lot of physical abuse. I know there was, at least towards Anne, from what I can tell. And just I know that when after her mom died, they were talking a lot about, giving these things to charity, and um, about how her mom was always giving money and items and buying things for other people, and for programs for the church. And so I wonder if that's kind of a Catholic thing to, I guess, make good in the community, so that you assume your position in heaven. I don't
it's
know.
it's a competition, really. Who's the holiest? Who's the highest ranking giver? Who's the one that does the most for the church? Who's the one that has the priest over for dinner as often,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. It's a competition.
Well, and the one sister said, she always was giving away to other people, and sometimes she'd make us give our toys away. And Anne, of course, was just really upset about that, because she remembers having to give away so many things. And and then her sister said her parents expected the kids to be able to fend for themselves, and that they didn't have, that they had the minimum of everything that they needed. And so, yeah, that's got to be a Catholic thing. And I know it was such a big deal when she died, to make sure that certain people were notified, certain people in the church from the congregation, and they were talking about all the pastors and the fathers and the nuns and everybody, and it was some big, it made her special, because she knew all these people in the church, and all these
Yep.
people from the Catholic cemeteries, and all these people from the funeral home, and that she was so well connected within the church. It was a big deal. And I think it just felt like a bunch of pomp and circumstance BS.
Yeah, and I wonder, who's going to line up with their hand out when mom passes and say, well, Rosie always gave me this and Rosie always gave me that, and I'm not going to continue that. I'm fighting that now with a young lady that was taking advantage of my mother, and I've had to work hard to make my mother stop giving her money and stop the girl from asking for it. And it's just, they just take advantage of her because she's the Bank of Berkey. She's Rosie.
Mm.
Rosie always has enough money for everybody. Why she hasn't been broken into and robbed, I don't understand. But
Is this going out on Facebook? How public is this on Facebook? We don't want to.
No, it's public on YouTube.
It is public on YouTube. Okay,
Yep.
so never mind about Berkey and someone by that name. She doesn't really have money to break into her house.
that's true. I'm sorry. I should have watched my
No,
words there.
sometimes you forget, who the audience is, and I know it says right on my screen, live on YouTube. Okay. Okay.
Yep. Sorry about that.
Do we have anybody watching this at all?
I don't see anybody, but that doesn't mean anything.
Okay. Well, yeah. Will
But
it be
the thing is,
available
Bev,
later?
you've done a lot to protect her money since. I mean, it's not like. I mean,
It's a
not
good
like
warning
she has
out
money
there.
just sitting around in coffee cans.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
It's not the. You've
Well,
done a lot, Bev, to protect your mom.
And people got to know, they mess with my mom, they got to deal with me.
Okay, that should go out publicly. Okay, let's do that.
Don't mess with Bevzilla.
Oh,
You
that's
betcha.
right. That's right.
Do not.
Well, and here's what I know about when I die, and my daughter knows that her job when I die is to count all of my fabric, because she who dies with the most fabric wins.
Ah,
Okay. I want them to count my frogs.
Okay. All right.
It should be around 350.
And if they need one more, they can. Oh, wait. No, that's a turtle that I have on my shoulder.
Oh,
Never mind.
oh, okay.
uh, well, I guess I need to get going, but I'm sure glad I spent some time with you.
It's good to see you, Peggy. Have a good holiday.
Thanks. Same to you. Enjoy.
Thanks.
There. Bye, Doug. Bye, Sean.
Have a good holiday, Peggy.
Thank you.
Nice
You
to see
too.
you.
Nice to see you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, bye, you guys. Have a good one.
See you later, Bev. Enjoy.
Okay. Bye.
Stay safe.
Guess nobody wanted me to wrap it up. What?